Hello and welcome. This is Nick Carter, and you are watching Stories from the Battlefield. Today we're diving into the absolutely wild true story of a young pilot, his impossibly tough plane, and a mission that honestly should have been his last. It's this incredible mix of pilot skill, pure luck, and just an unbelievably tough airplane from the final days of World War II. All right, let's get right into it.
So, picture this. It's January 27th, 1945. That's the call that crackles over the radio. It was an urgent warning from one pilot to another, flying low and fast through the Italian mountains, and it was the start of one legendary dogfight.
So let's really set the scene for this incredible mission. We're in the last brutal months of World War II in Europe. The Allied advance is pushing its way north through Italy, and the skies are just crawling with planes, as pilots are hunting for any retreating German forces they can find.
So who are we talking about here? Well, we've got two pilots from the 1st Brazilian Fighter Squadron. You have Lieutenant Luiz Dornelles, he's the leader, and his 18-year-old wingman, Raymundo da Costa Canario, who went by the nickname Canary, and they are flying two P-47 Thunderbolts, absolute beasts of an aircraft, on what they called a free hunting mission. Basically, go find German targets of opportunity and destroy them.
And as they roar around this cliff face, they spot it. And it's not just a few trucks, no, it's a full German column. And right there in the middle of it are the unmistakable, hulking shapes of two Tiger tanks. I mean, these were some of the most heavily armored and feared weapons of the entire war.
And, it's the rookie, the 18-year-old, who reacts first. While his leader, Dornelles, is still kind of sizing up the anti-aircraft risk, Canario, just full of adrenaline and the thrill of the hunt, banks his P-47 and dives right in for the attack.
Immediately, German bullets start flying, making this sound like gravel hitting a windshield as they ping off the Thunderbolt's tough fuselage. But check this out. With ice in his veins, Canario just unloads everything he's got. First, a whole barrage of rockets streaks toward the German armor. Then he squeezes the trigger, and all 8 of his 50 cal machine guns just rip into the column. And finally, as he's passing low right over them, he punches the release, dropping 2 500-pound bombs right on top of the tanks.
So Canario pulls up from his run, but he's in deep trouble. Green tracers are just zipping past his cockpit. A German 20mm cannon has him dead to rights. And just as those deadly rounds are closing in, Dornelles dives to the rescue, strafing the gun position and dropping his own bombs to save his wingman.
And that was Canario's call over the radio. A little bit of relief, a little bit of dark humor. It's just a perfect example of that gallows humor and the incredible bond between these guys, sharing a joke just moments after they both almost died.
But wait, they're not done yet. As they're circling the smoking wrecks, they spot another one, a third Tiger tank a little further down the road. Dornelles goes in first, fires his rockets, and damages the tank's suspension, basically stopping the 56-ton beast in its tracks. Then he calls out, "Canary, he's all yours," and Canario dives down to finish the job.
I mean, think about that. 3 Tigers down in a single day. That is an incredible victory. But in the heat of the moment, a split second of what they call target fixation is about to turn this triumph into a desperate fight for survival.
So Dornelles spots another target, a German half-track that's trying to get away. Canario locks on, and his 850 cal machine guns just tear the vehicle apart until it explodes into a massive fireball. He roars past, feeling victorious, but as he looks away from the wreckage, he realizes his fatal error. Because filling his entire windscreen is a factory with a huge, towering chimney. He yanks back hard on the stick, but it's way too late. He feels this blood-curdling impact, and the plane is just thrown into a violent roll. On pure instinct, he shoves the stick hard to the left, fighting the spin, and somehow his trusty P-47 starts to level out.
He's alive. The plane is still flying, but something is seriously wrong. He has to hold the stick all the way to the left just to keep it from rolling over again. He forces himself to look out his window to see the unbelievable damage.
And he sees that a full third of his right wing is gone, just completely torn away. I mean, this is catastrophic damage. This should have sent the plane into an unrecoverable death spiral instantly.
So how in the world is this plane still in the air? Well, this is where the legend of the P-47 Thunderbolt, the Jug, really comes to life. Unlike some of the more fragile fighters, its air-cooled engine could take a beating and keep on running,
And it's just sheer size and tough construction meant it could absorb punishment that would have ripped other planes to pieces. And on this day, that toughness was the only thing keeping Raymundo Canario alive.
Okay, so he's won the fight against the Germans, but now he's in a whole new fight. A fight against physics, a fight against gravity. Canario has to somehow nurse this crippled bird dozens and dozens of miles back to the safety of his base.
So just imagine this situation. His right wing is crippled, he's got the stick and the rudder shoved all the way to the left just to fly straight, his radio's busted, he can hear his leader, but he can't talk back. And then, just when you think it absolutely cannot get any worse, a new transmission comes in, 2 unidentified fighters are heading right for them.
And you won't believe this. They're friendly British Spitfires, but they don't know that. They see this lone P-47 with markings they don't recognize, they assume it's an enemy, and they dive in to attack. Before anyone can even react, tracers are pouring out of their wings, tearing Canario's already shredded tail to pieces.
You can just imagine the Spitfire pilot's shock when they pull up alongside him, realize their horrible mistake, and see the P-47's markings and the massive hole in its wing. They kind of dip their wings like an oops, sorry about that, and just fly away, leaving Canario even more damaged, but somehow still in the air.
Okay, he has survived German tanks. He survived a factory chimney. He survived friendly fire. Now only one challenge remains: getting this wreck of a plane safely back on the ground.
With incredible skill, he manages to get his landing gear down and sideslips the crippled aircraft towards the runway. He's just about to touch down when a message from the control tower crackles through his headset. Aboard! Aboard! Apparently, the runway is needed for another emergency landing.
I mean, can you imagine his frustration? He's probably screaming into his broken radio, "Can't they see I've only got one wing?" He's forced to pull up and circle the airbase, performing these wobbly, unstable turns, all while fighting to control a plane that by all rights shouldn't even be flying.
Finally, he gets the all clear. He hits the runway hard, but the landing gear holds. And in a cloud of dust, what's left of his Thunderbolt rolls to a stop. But get this, and this is the part that just blows my mind. Not only did Raymundo Canario survive, but they repaired that plane, with a third of its wing gone, and it flew another 50 missions before the war ended.
So that leaves us with this fascinating question, and I really want to know what you think. In moments like this, what's more impressive? The incredible nerve and skill of an 18-year-old pilot, or the sheer brute toughness of the machine he was flying? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And hey, if you like this story, make sure you subscribe for more incredible explainers from history.